Welcome back to the shop. It's the 16th of December 2017. Happy birthday, Bula. Alrighty, today what we're doing is we're shooting a video of doing some sawing on the sawmill. Now I met a real nice guy back in Pioneer days up in Lincoln County. His name is Tommy, and he told me he had some logs that he needed cut up. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to do the job, but let me look at the logs first. So I stopped by his house and took a look at the logs, and even though they were short, I thought we could go ahead and get them on the mill. Some real interesting wood. I think he said it's called an imperial tree. But anyway, I looked at the logs and I said, I can do this. So swung by, picked them up with the truck, brought them up to the house, and when we tried to put them on the mill, there was a little bit of a problem. They were just way too short. And I had to come up with an idea on what we were going to do to be able to cut those logs for this guy. He's probably the nicest guy in the world, and I really wanted to get the job done for him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of first go through what the problem was and then what the solution was to that, and then see if we can't get out here on the mill this morning and see if what I've come up with will work. So y'all hang on tight. Let's get this started, and I'm going to start off by showing you what the problem is. Alright guys, let's start off by talking about what the problem is. Let's say this represents Tommy's logs right here, and they're all pretty much about the same size. One's a little bit longer than the other, and there's 3 of them in total. But the problem is they actually fall through the rungs on the mill. So we could put it up here, but the other problem is that this represents our supports that hold the log in place while we cut it. The problem is if we hook up here, and of course you know these slide on this side and slide that over and hold it, the log is unsafe. If the blade hits it here, it's going to twist off here. If we come to the front, when it gets to the rear, it's going to twist off towards the back, like here. So our problem was, what do we do to secure that log? And this is what I came up with. If I take a couple of 2x4s and lay them like this, and then I take a 2x4 and put it here and push the log up against that, and then I take this 2x4 and put it over here, and I put a couple screws through here, or going to, is what my plan is. I'm going to pull these up tight here. We should be able to come down and cut that log without any problems. Now if we need to, these 2x4s are sacrificial, so I can just cut them down to the level of where I put the screws in here, and we should be able to get them some boards. Now our plan is to cut these about 1.25 inch thick boards, but we're going to take a look at that once we get out there. So that's our plan, is we're essentially going to make a sled and then extend these supports just by using 2x4s. So let's get out here on the mill, let's get to work and see what happens. Y'all hang tight with me as we move out to the mill. Alright, here we are out at the mill. Now I talked to you a little bit already about the problems that we were having with these logs, and the only way I see to solve that problem is I'm going to have to make a sled. Now I'm going to be moving the video camera around a little bit, so y'all can get a little bit seasick, but I'm shooting this video by myself, and I kind of want to get these logs done so I get them down to Tommy this evening. Now Tommy just called me on the phone here just a second ago, literally as I was loading up the log, and he's like, hey, where's my boards at? So we're going to try to get this done today, even though I don't even have any help on the mill or shooting the video. But here's part of the problem. Michael, as you know, these rails are our 2 closest rails here. The rest of the rails are spaced pretty far apart. The problem when we put the logs on here is our log dogs just barely want to hold them, but only in one spot. Plus the log dog on this side here doesn't fit, but we've got one here making the log where it's going to want to pitch as soon as that blade hits it, and the blade coming this way, our blade will actually come this way across, so it'll want to keep twisting the log out. We don't have any ability to hold with the log dog here, so this is going to be an interesting problem we're going to have to overcome. What I'm going to do for that is I'm going to build a simple sled, and I'm going to take y'all on a ride with me to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to move this camera, and you're going to get a little seasick, but it's going to help you kind of understand the problem from a little bit different angle. So y'all hang on, take your Dramamine, and let's go for a ride. So, as I said, this log dog here will come up and hold, and that's fine, but we don't have anything to hit here. So when that blade hits and it's going that way, it's going to twist this whole log this way, making this very, very unsafe. Over here, and I'm sorry I'm going to make y'all seasick, this one here doesn't even come close to the log. Now if we look over here, our log support over here, and I'm going to make you seasick, guys, I apologize, doesn't touch the log. We've only got 3 points of contact. We have here, here, and then this one here. And 3 points of contact are good for a stool, maybe even a bench, but for holding a log with the force that this blade is going to hit, it's just not going to be a good thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a simple sled. I'm going to take y'all along for that ride, so y'all hang on, let me get a cup of coffee in me, let me get a sled started, and then we're going to mill some logs for our good buddy Tommy.
Paddle play.
And the log now rests on the two bottom supports that are acting as the sled. I've added these 2x4s here to actually hold it, since it won't fit between the two dogs. And then I added this board that we put the Power Pro screws into to help grip it and hold it. And it seems like it's in pretty good shape. Now the sun is not in an optimal position for us to film, but I hope you get a good idea of what we're doing today. So I'm going to start by cutting here, and I'm going to cut successive layers down about 1 1/8 1/4 off these boards. I'll take a look at it and see what I want to do as I mill the log. So let's hang on and see how this works out holding on our quick homemade sled.
Wow, look at this. This is some pretty grain pattern here. Even rough salt. Look at that. That is some pretty wood. Now, I'm not sure what this stuff is, but man, looks like it's going to be some pretty project wood here. Let's see what happens with the rest of this log.